Hey there, I'm professional psychic Karen Marie, and this is Psyched Up Sundays for April 23rd, 2023. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. I'll be talking about the astrological transits for the week ahead in this video. Make sure you check out my daily 1-minute Psyched Up dates that I post here on this channel. I also post them on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok. And those are an easy dose to get what's going on in the skies for each day. And I draw a tarot card and channel all that and keep it under a minute. So make sure you do check those out. All right, I also want to give a shout out to my youngest child, my number 6 kiddo, Raphael Malford Marie. I call him Rafe. We all do. He is 20 years old today. So happy birthday to Rafe. Alrighty, I'm going to dive on in. First, setting a backdrop. We are between eclipses, which is when the veil is the thinnest between dimensions. Things can be transformative and really, it's like speeding up timetables or doing like leapfrogs through space between eclipses. We had a new moon solar eclipse last week on the 19th or 20th of April, depending on where you are on the planet. That was squaring Pluto. So Pluto is about death and transformation, power and control issues. So Pluto brings a wrecking crew. It's like a demolition crew. It makes sure you're going to transform something in your life. When we feel eclipses beforehand, we can feel them for a good month ahead of time, and we feel them at least 6 months afterwards. Sometimes a couple years. With this Pluto squaring the last eclipse, we'll be feeling the effects of that eclipse for months to come. So even if you didn't feel something around the eclipse time, I felt this super ominous energy leading up to the eclipse. The dark moon period a couple days before the eclipse was pretty gnarly psychically for me as an empath, just feeling, oh, something's coming. Our next eclipse will be a full moon lunar eclipse that'll happen next week on the 5th of May. That happens at 12:34 p.m. at 14 degrees and 58 minutes, so almost 15 degrees of Scorpio. It will also be super potent and powerful because it is opposite Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener. Uranus throws curveballs. It wants to wake you up consciously and spiritually. So eclipses are portal points. People come into our lives around eclipses. People exit our lives around eclipses. So lots of people I've talked about are like finishing relationships, like I'm done with that ex, ease on down the road, don't come back, trying to block the energy from us. I've heard that story several times this week. There's new people coming into our lives as well. So new relationships of all kinds can enter your life, new opportunities, transformational energy around work, creativity. All these things can really shift in dramatic, transformative ways. Now, Pluto was squaring the eclipse last week. Pluto is squaring the nodes of fate, the north node and the south node, for the rest of the year till November. It's exactly squaring them in July, but it's anything within 10 degrees is considered conjunct or into aspect, whether it's a square, a sextile, or trine, or whatever. The closer it gets to exactitude, then we really feel it potently. So as I talk about the transits for this week ahead, know that with any transits, we can feel them ahead of time. We can feel them afterwards. As a psychic, I feel things often before they hit. I'll also be seeing the lingering effects afterwards, so just know that. And the times I'll be giving you are Austin, Texas times, because that's where I am in the central time zone in the United States. So make allowances for wherever you are on the planet in terms of the times. The degrees are going to be the same no matter where you are. So this lunar eclipse next week is also going to be opposite Uranus, which means or Uranus, depending on how you pronounce it. I've heard both lots of times, Uranus and Uranus, so whatever works for you. I kind of actually prefer Uranus. But shocks, surprises, breakthroughs, powerful endings, powerful beginnings, surprises in all kinds of ways are going to be coming along with this lunar eclipse. Now, a full moon by itself is about culminations, about endings. And so every month when we have the full moon, it's the end of the cycle. It's like, okay, that's it. That's a wrap. I'm done with this. Things are too full. Full moons can bring out the lunatic in people. There's a reason for that word, lunatic. And so full moon with an eclipse is like just can be off the chain in terms of just bringing up emotional debris in an intense way, particularly in Scorpio, which is a water sign. All the water signs, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, when the moon moves through those signs, we can really have our emotional bodies be just, people can be extra emotional. We can also be extra psychic because the moon represents our intuition and our inner emotional realm. So these things can be strengthened and heightened. So the squares to the north nodes. Now, the three most important things in a birth chart are the sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign or ascendant. If you don't know the time of your birth, you won't know your rising sign. It's super important in astrology, though, because the rising sign is what places all the planets in the houses and around the astrological wheel. You can still know where a lot of the planets are by degree if you don't know the time of your birth, because the day of your birth, most of the planets are going to be at a certain degree. The moon changes every couple of days. So sometimes if you were born in the morning, the moon could be in one sign. In the evening, the moon could be in a different sign. So you don't always know the moon sign if you don't know your time of birth. Most birth certificates have the time on them, but not all. Sometimes you have to ask an older relative or look inside the front page of a Bible or baby books to have where that time might be. People can order the long form of your birth certificate, and sometimes it'll be on that if you have a short form that does not have the time. So Pluto will be squaring these nodes. Now, some astrologers think the north and south nodes are the most important things in your chart. That determines a lot more of who you are and what you came here to do. South node, what you came in to release and clear out. North node is what we came in to learn, what our soul needs to know. So just FYI about that. So a square can be a contingent energy. Like it's like usually where there's some conflict. It can be like two people coming to an intersection at the same time, not knowing there's a vying for power. Pluto in a square to the nodes is guaranteeing that we have to take action in some way to transform our lives. Like we can't get out of it. Like people who are avoiding doing their inner work are really having a rough go at it. Which really a lot of people, when they're avoiding their work, what do they do instead? They dive into addictive patterns. So addictions are really coming full tilt boogie, coming to a head even more. Particularly now that Saturn has moved into Pisces. Neptune's been there for a while. But Pisces rules the worlds of addiction. That's one fish. The other fish is swimming along with the divine and psychic and spiritual. So there can be this movement towards more people getting in touch with their own psychic abilities. And I believe everyone is psychic. We all have intuitive abilities. We all have psychic abilities. For some of us, the volume is turned up super loud. We can't ignore it. Other people's volume is turned down or off. Everyone can develop and enhance the abilities they have. Your intuition, your psychic abilities are connected to your higher self. It's not connected to the ego or your mind or your brain, right? So we have the higher self, the part of our soul that continues on after we put our bodies down. The voice of the intuition is connected to that, the higher aspects of ourself. When we're listening to inner direction, there's a difference from direction that comes from our internal psychic voice. It's kinder. It'll like, wouldn't you love to? Wouldn't it be great as, oh, I'm feeling this. This is more of a draw, or you can feel something negatively as an intuition, like, ooh, that doesn't feel right. Oh, there's a strong vibe. There's an electrical feeling attached to intuition if you're paying attention. Whereas the vibe coming from your mind, your brain is made up of everything that's been programmed, everything you've learned, everything you've been taught. It's a little mini computer, right? When you're being told something from your brain, your mind, what you coulda, shoulda, woulda, there can be a harshness to it. I need to do this. I should do that. I shouldn't have done that. Like That's coming from the mind. That's not the higher self. The higher self has a beautiful, loving, caring voice to it. So that's one of the ways if you're trying to discern the difference internally. Spiritual practices of all kinds, breath work, meditation, chanting, prayer, walking in the woods, staring into a campfire, soaking in the tub, whatever puts you in contact with your higher self can help put you in contact with your internal intuitive voice. It's best to try to slide the mind to the side, slide the emotional body to the side, and access your higher self. So when we take action on the way we've been guided, we're on the best path for our life. So I really, really recommend to carve out time every morning, even if it's just 3 minutes of deep breathing. The more time you devote to it, the better off you are. I like Joe Dispenza talking about, he recommends everybody do 30 minutes of meditation every day, except for the people who don't have enough time, and those people should do an hour. Like, you really put your whole life more in rhythm when you stop, you breathe, you center, and you go off from a centered place into your life and get the direction for what you need for this one day. So enough about that diatribe of meditation and chanting and praying and connecting with your higher self, connecting with your intuition. It is paramount in these times. We are in transformational times. It is intensive. Pluto is squaring these nodes of fate till November of this year. So it's aspected in all kinds of ways. Not only that, not only do we have a lunar eclipse next week opposite Uranus, which is bringing in all kinds of powerful change, Pluto is squaring the nodes, and Pluto is the ruler of this lunar eclipse because it's in Scorpio. Pluto rules Scorpio. So Pluto's everywhere you turn. There's Pluto. The nodes move backwards in the sky compared to the rest of the planets. So they move from 29 degrees to 0 degrees. All the rest of the planets start at 0 degrees of a sign and move to 29 degrees. So the 30 degrees of every sign. 0 is the first degree, 29 being the last. So we had this solar eclipse last week at 29 degrees and 50 minutes of Aries, at the very last degree of Aries. So like I said, we feel eclipses afterwards, 6 months at least. We'll feel this one, last one, a couple of years to come. What's interesting to me is that this eclipse last week happened on the exact same point in the sky that Mars, the ruler of Aries, was when January 6th, 2021 happened. So I feel like the ramifications of that event, because the eclipse came and like throws a big, huge spotlight onto that point. Not only that, Jupiter will be coming around to that point soon. We'll have Chiron moving to that point. We have it'll be activated again and again over these next couple of years. So it just keeps magnifying this last degree of Aries. And Aries is really about listening to yourself, following your own inner voice, doing something new. Aries is the pioneer. It brings passion to what it does. So this eclipse at the last degree of Aries was getting us to get something initiated, get something started, start something new that's going to be a powerful, authentic change for your life. And again, squaring Pluto, it's like, yeah, let's change it up. Let's transform what you need to transform. Let's do the inner work you need to be doing on yourself. So, the other thing that's happening next week, Pluto turns retrograde on the 1st. So before any planet, an outer planet moves more slowly. So when it turns to change signs, whether it's change positions, whether it's going forwards or retrogrades, it gets heightened in its meaning and impact and intensity. So we've got Pluto, which is going to be the ruler of this next eclipse and was squaring the last one, in a position of turning retrograde in the middle in between these eclipses. Again, just emphasizing death and transformation, power and control issues. I'm sure everyone is experiencing power and control issues in their life in some way. We're seeing it play out in our government, for sure. In your own life, the positive take in that is, where are you empowering yourself? Are you giving your power away to anyone? Are you reclaiming your power? These are also some of the things that we're all doing with this Pluto being just emphasized. Pluto is also Lord of the underworld. It's the ruler of Scorpio, which is the deep, dark water. So deep psyche, past life issues coming up, past life karma coming up to the forefront. We all have karma based on the causes we've set in this lifetime and in past lifetime. That's positive and negative. It's like your bank account. Could be in the red or in the black, depending on what you've put into it. When you've set positive causes, you have positive karma. If you've set negative causes, you have negative karma. We all have a combination of both. I feel like one of the things that we're doing here is cleaning up our karmic debris. We're healing ourselves from wounds in the past. We're healing our fears. We're empowering ourselves to be the best, most authentic, centered selves, the way I see it. We're evolving as souls. We're doing our inner work to grow and evolve as a soul, to change our karmic patterns, to evolve them, to be where we get into new patterns that are more reflective of growth and evolution. You know when you're an old karmic pattern when you experience the same things over and over again. You get into a relationship. It's the same dynamics of the last 3 relationships. That's your karma. That means you haven't changed something within. You can't just change the external things and expect them to look different if you haven't changed something deeply within. Same thing with jobs, fill in the blank. If you're repeating karmic patterns, you have not done your inner work. That's a sign. When you have done your inner work, things change. You have a change in your life. You don't draw the same kind of situations, people, places, things into your life. So this is an opportunity to really transform deep level karma with all these Pluto factors playing into our lives. Okay, let me talk about this week. Mercury is retrograde. It went retrograde last week, a couple days after the eclipse. Mercury is retrograde in Taurus. We have the North Node in Taurus. We have Uranus in Taurus. We have Mercury in Taurus. So the North Node, the eclipses always happen close to where the nodes are. And the nodes are right now at 4 degrees of Taurus and of Scorpio. Again, South nodes where we're collectively releasing, clearing out deep psychological baggage, old karmic patterns, past life issues, the things in our life that's not serving us. And then the North Node is creating value for our lives. What do we do to feel better about our physical body, to create value in terms of what we're doing for our work? Are the people around our lives valuing us? These are some of the lessons that we've been collectively learning as the node has moved through Taurus. The eclipses always happen close to the nodes. So even though this last eclipse was in Aries, it was at the very last degree of Aries, and just a few degrees away is the North Node. So, and then this next one is in Scorpio, close to the South Node. In July, the nodes will shift into Aries and Libra. I'll talk about more about that as it gets closer to that. That's the relationship axis. The axis of Taurus and Scorpio is the financial aspect. Taurus is how we earn our money, how we store our money, how we take care of our physical body, how we take care of ourselves by how we feed ourselves, how we clothe ourselves. It's ruled by Venus. So it's who we love, what we love, our finances, our money. It's creativity. It's beautiful things. Venusian, that's the North Node. So a lot of people have done work to change their health routine as the node has moved through Taurus, have changed what they're doing for a living, finances, how they're making their money. South Node is collective money. It's the we. It could be the money that you and your partner have, or you have with your family, or that you inherit, or that you win in the lotto, or that you're gifted by someone. It's also like stocks. Anytime we're collective, people are together with money, that's Scorpio. So there could be volatility in the stock market around and other financial holdings, banks and such, around these eclipses as well. Right now, the moon is in Gemini on Sunday, the 23rd of April. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is retrograde. Mercury will be retrograde until May 14th, Mother's Day. So Mercury rules our thinking, our conversations with others, in all kinds of communication, whether that's texting, emails, snail mails, conversations on the phone, conversations in person, our technology, so our computers, our phones. I had to already redo this video one time, Mercury retrograde classic, because my computer didn't record it. That's a classic Mercury retrograde thing. Transportation, your cars, your buses, your trains, planes, your short-term travel is ruled by Mercury. So we can expect glitches in all these areas. You didn't get that email I sent you? Wait, you misunderstood that. That's not what I said. Again, computer glitches, phone glitches. But I went to Dallas and back this weekend. More wrecks on the road than I usually see. Like 3 different wrecks that slowed me down, added an extra 30 minutes to my transit time going there last Friday. It's like, okay, Mercury's retrograde. I can see it. So please, please, please be careful when you are traveling, when you're in your vehicle. Again, this moon in Gemini, people are out of their brains, out of their minds, in 2 different heads, not even paying attention to their driving, not even paying attention to what's on the road. So the classic thing with Mercury retrograde is to give yourself more time so that you're not in a rush. You don't have to speed to get somewhere. You can, it's okay if you get delayed on the way to the airport or your plane gets delayed. Like, just expect delays and you'll be good. And then if things flow easily, you can be nicely surprised. Make sure you look at that email before you send it, the text before you send it, just double check things. The rewords come into play with Mercury retrograde. Review, rework, reconsider, reflect. So it's a wonderful time for us to think back over. And Mercury's in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So a lot of us will be rethinking relationships, rethinking financial decisions. It's very common, Mercury retrograde, for exes to come back into your life. Or people that you've known from past lives to enter your life, particularly when it's in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So you can possibly expect some past life connections or some old flames to reach out and contact you. Classic Mercury retrograde stuff. So it's not always bad. Again, especially if you give yourself extra time, and it's over pretty quickly, relatively. Okay, Moon in Gemini now on Sunday. Tomorrow, Monday the 24th, the Moon moves into Cancer at 1:58 p.m. So a Cancer Moon against a water sign. So emotions can be heightened. People can be extra moody as the Moon moves through Cancer. Our psychic abilities can be stronger too. That's one of the positives. Cancer rules the 4th house in the astrological wheel. So this is your childhood home, your childhood feelings, how you felt about yourself as a child, your relationships with your mother, yourself as a mother. These are all Cancer energies, wanting to feed people, wanting to help heal people, needing to heal yourself, needing to change things with your food. These are all things that could be coming into play as the Moon moves through Cancer, Monday and Tuesday. We also have a conjunction between the Sun in Taurus and the North Node in Taurus tomorrow, Monday at 6 a.m. That's also in Texas time again. So the Sun illuminates. North Node, again, is what we're collectively learning, and it's about values. So shining the light on who treats us in a valuable way, our valuables, what is valuable to us, not just money and finances, but it could include that. It's what do we value in our lives, and do the people around us show us that they value us? These things can be illuminated, and we can be able to see things in a more heightened way. Are we on the right path is another thing with the Sun illuminating the North Node. On Tuesday the 25th, the Sun in Taurus forms a sextile with Saturn in Pisces. Sextiles are positive connections. There's usually a positive action that can be taken around a sextile. Again, the Sun in Taurus is illuminating values. Saturn in Pisces is having us put up boundaries, structure our time better. Saturn is father time. It's where we put in extra effort. So, and in Pisces, Saturn is about psychic and spiritual connections. So you may get some insight into, upping your spiritual practice, or having regular, consistent times that you're meditating or chanting. So these are positive things that could come out of this sextile, particularly if you're willing to set up boundaries too with other people. Like, yep, nope, they bring me down. This is a toxic energy. I don't want to be around this person. I'm going to hold this boundary. That can be another positive way that this shows up. We have another sextile on Tuesday at 6:50 p.m. between Venus in Gemini and Chiron in Aries. So I see this as an opportunity to have healing in terms of relationships. So you could have some insights. Venus is about love and relationships. Chiron's where we've been wounded, so it can come to light places that we still need to heal. We could also come to light an affirmation of things we have already healed. Look at that. I normally react this way. I didn't. I reacted this way instead. Oh, okay. I can really see I've done some healing work here. Venus is also about, creativity. So we could have some wonderful ideas because it's in Gemini around doing things that would be healing in terms of creative. You might write a song that's creative, or write a letter to someone where you feel like you're getting things out, or even writing in your journal. These are other ways I can see that this sextile between Venus and Chiron could bring about some positive healing, or you putting some healing energy out. Again, sextiles are positive ways that we can take action. There's another sextile coming Wednesday the 26th at 5:15 a.m. between Juno, which is an asteroid that's in Taurus, and Neptune in Pisces. Juno is who and what we commit to. And Neptune is, again, the psychic, spiritual connection. So we, again, may be deciding to make a commitment to regular spiritual practices, to meditating, to developing our psychic abilities, to getting some sort of clarity that, oh, now I know what I need to commit to, or clarity around, oh, no, I'm really clear I don't need to commit to that person, or this person I'm being really drawn to make a commitment to, or this thing I'm being drawn to commit to. So that's a very lovely sextile. This is the week of really nice sextiles for sure. On Thursday the 27th at 1:29 a.m., the moon moves into Leo. Leo is the 5th house in the astrological wheel. It rules romance, creativity, children, playfulness, like having fun. So Leo moon, we could want to have fun, enjoy ourselves, doing something creative, be romantic over the next couple of days as the moon moves through Leo. We have a square on Thursday the 27th as well at 8:34 p.m. between Mars in Cancer and Chiron in Aries. So again, squares can be a contentious place, or a place where we really need to take some sort of action. So we may need to confront some wounds, to look deeply at our wounds instead of avoid them. People who do not work on themselves, who not deal with their woundedness, usually splat that onto the world around them, blaming other people, calling other people out for hurting them or doing this or that, because they're too afraid to look within and take responsibility for their own karma, their own woundedness. Even if the wounds came from other people, it's our responsibility to do the healing work, or to get help with healing. So we could have a come to Jesus kind of situation where we're like, oh my God, I really need to go to therapy, or like, I'm going to go ahead and sign up for that ayahuasca retreat, or I'm going to do whatever you need to do. Get on that massage table, go get some Reiki. We may really feel compelled to take action around our wounds on Thursday, or just see, okay, I really need to heal this. During Friday, there's no major aspects between the planets, but the moon makes lots of different aspects. So again, check out my daily Psyched-Up Dates for whatever's going on for the day. On Saturday the 29th, at 1:59 p.m., the moon will move into Virgo. A Virgo moon can put our attention on details, getting things organized, doing healing work, helping other people. We have another sextile at 3:04 p.m. on Saturday the 29th between Mars in Cancer and Uranus in Taurus. So again, Uranus brings in the unexpected, sudden things, but a sextile is a positive. So sudden, something positive, unexpected, harmonious, a quick change of some kind, something that's directed from higher power, that's okay, I want you to take action this way. Or, oh, I really want to do this. Like this is one of the ways, because again, Mars is how we take action, or how we put energy into things, or who we put energy into, what we put energy into. Uranus is going to give us some insights, bring in something unexpected, but it's going to be positive with a sextile. Positive, even getting us on the right path if we're off in some way, like rerouting us could happen in this positive sextile on Saturday. And then the moon makes lots of aspects on Sunday the 30th. And again, the next day on the 1st of May, Pluto stations retrogrades. This whole week we may be feeling power and control issues reaching ahead, just transformational opportunities left and right. We have the lunar eclipse next week. Again, we're between eclipses. It can feel kind of weird and strange between eclipses because we're going through transformational times, and it is super duper powerful. So opportunities to change karma everywhere we turn. This is very positive. Compelled to do healing work this week with the aspects to Chiron. That can be super positive. Your dreams can be super vivid between the eclipses as well. Being open to insights about direction. And again, please, please, please take the time to meditate, chant, pray, connect with your higher self so you can listen to your intuition, the way you're being guided and directed from a higher vibrational source. Then take the action you feel guided to take. Pray for courage. Ask for help from your guides. Ask for yourself to have that courage to take the action, to follow your own inner direction, and you're on the best path for your life. So if you want to contact me for private sessions, my website, my email is below. In my private sessions, one-on-one, I usually conduct those over Zoom or the telephone. We usually start with your birth chart, look at the current transits, see how they're affecting you personally, then move into using the tarot cards, doing a general reading. And I'm a channel, I'm an empath, and I'm a medium. So all that comes into play through the astrology, through the cards. I never know what's going to be coming through, what I'm going to get, what I'm going to offer you. So you get the whole combo platter in your private sessions. I also facilitate past life regressions, rebirthing sessions, psychic development instruction, house clearings, house concerts if you want me to come do music at your house or your party. So contact me if you're interested in any of my private sessions. Details about that are on my website, which is linked below. Check out my Psyched-Up Dates daily for your 1-minute dose of what's going on in the skies. Have a great week. Peace.